They tell you to move on. They tell you time heals everything. But no one tells you what happens when the person who shattered you comes back after you finally learned how to breathe again. Because sometimes the most devastating revenge is no longer needing the apology you begged for. If you've ever been discarded, blocked, or made to feel disposable by someone you loved, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because this story isn't about getting even. It's about what happens when power quietly changes hands.
They always come back. It's hard to explain heartbreak to someone who hasn't lived inside it. Not the dramatic kind, not the movie kind. I'm talking about the slow, grinding kind that lives in your chest, the kind that turns mornings into obstacles and nights into interrogations. For months after the breakup, my life felt like one long rewind. Every single day, my mind replayed the same scenes on a loop. What if I hadn't said that? What if I'd noticed sooner? What if I just tried harder? The worst part wasn't missing her. It was missing who I was when I thought I was loved. She didn't just leave. She erased me. Blocked everywhere. Phone, socials, email, everything. The final message still burned in my memory. "You're the worst. Don't ever contact me again. I want nothing to do with you." No explanation that made sense. No conversation. No closure. Just silence. And silence is cruel. Silence lets your imagination run wild. It convinces you that you were the villain, that you were unlovable, replaceable, easy to discard. I stopped sleeping properly. Food tasted like cardboard. Music hurt. Places hurt. Even random objects would ambush me with memories. A mug she liked, a show we used to watch, a song that came on in a grocery store, and suddenly I was gripping the cart, pretending I was fine while I put her on a pedestal so high I couldn't see her flaws anymore. She became perfect in my mind, and I became the problem. Weeks blurred into months. Friends tried to help, but how do you explain that you're grieving someone who's still alive, someone you love right here? Every morning I checked my phone before I was even fully awake. Nothing. Every night I stared at the ceiling, bargaining with the universe. Just one message, just one chance to explain. I'll do anything.
That's the humiliating part. No one likes to admit. I would have accepted crumbs. I would have apologized for things I didn't do. I would have folded myself smaller just to stay. And then, slowly, something shifted. Not all at once. It wasn't empowering. It wasn't dramatic. It was subtle. There were days where I didn't think about her until the afternoon. Then days where I didn't think about her until night. The obsession loosened its grip. I stopped stalking old photos, stopped rereading old texts like scripture. For the first time, I let myself see her as a human being, not a goddess, not a villain. And strangely, that made the pain quieter. I wasn't healed, but I was healing. 10 months passed. 10 months of rebuilding my identity from scratch. And then, one ordinary afternoon, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. "Hey, I know this is unexpected. Are you open to talking?" My heart didn't explode. That's what shocked me the most. A few months earlier, this would have sent me spiraling, hand shaking, pulse racing, mind screaming, "This is it, this is it, this is it." Instead, I just stared at the screen. 15 minutes passed. I sat there, phone in hand, noticing things I never would have before. How calm my breathing was, how my shoulders weren't hunched, how my world didn't suddenly collapse into that one sentence. And that's when it hit me. This text used to be my fantasy. Now it was just information. I asked myself a question I never thought I'd be able to ask honestly. Am I even ready for this? Because wanting someone back isn't the same as being strong enough to meet them without losing yours. Eventually, I replied. Not immediately, not desperately, just calmly, polite, detached, guarded. And we talked. Not about getting back together, not about promises. We talked like two people acknowledging wreckage. Apologies were exchanged, some real,
some overdue. She admitted things she never had before. I admitted pain I'd swallowed for months. And something unexpected happened. I didn't feel small. I didn't feel like I needed her validation anymore. The power dynamic had flipped, not because I tried, but because I grew. Over the next few days, we texted occasionally. Nothing intense, nothing loaded, and I realized something that felt like quiet justice. She came back when I finally stopped chasing, when I stopped needing, when her message was no longer a lifeline, just a choice. That's the part people don't talk about. They don't come back when you're broken and begging. They come back when you've rebuilt something they no longer have access to. And for the first time since the breakup, I felt okay. Not euphoric, not triumphant, just grounded, whole. Here's the truth that hit hardest. The revenge wasn't rejecting her.
The revenge wasn't making her jealous. The revenge wasn't even indifference. The revenge was survival. It was being able to read her words without my chest tightening. It was realizing I could walk away again and be fine. Her message came too late to save what we had, but right on time to prove I didn't need it anymore. And that quiet realization, that was everything. Sometimes closure doesn't come from answers. It comes from strength. And sometimes karma doesn't hurt them loudly. It teaches you how to stop hurting quietly. If this story resonated with you, smash that like button and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, have you ever had someone come back after you finally moved on? Remember, if you're still struggling, keep going. Healing doesn't always announce itself, but one day you'll notice